Hi, everyone. Welcome to the virtual campus visit for UC Berkeley. If you're interested in learning all about UC Berkeley in a virtual aspect, you are in the right place today. So excited to welcome you all to today's tour. We're going to go ahead and get started today. We'll start with a little introduction. My name is Izzy. I am a fourth year studying media studies with a minor in Korean and journalism, and I will be your moderator for today. So, as we go to the next slide, I want to get to know a little bit more about you all. Yes, so we're gonna have a poll pop up, and it's gonna let us know what type of visitor are you. Are you a high school student? Are you prospective college student? So, in short moment, that poll is going to pop up on the screen, and we get to know a little bit more about you all today. But yeah, it's gonna say like, are you a high school student? Are you a counselor? But yeah, we're interested in that. Let's see. Let's see. There we go. There it is. Or this one says where you, there you go. What type of visitor are you today? So please feel free to answer that right now. Are you a high school student, family member? Are you a middle school student? Sometimes you got to start really early. Let's see. Do we have any school teachers, counselors? We have some transfer students in the chat today. Awesome. We're gonna let that keep going for a little bit longer. It's more alumni. Go Bears. Okay. All righty. All right. We have about 73% participation. We have a couple more polls throughout this tour, so definitely look forward to that. We're gonna go ahead in today's polls and see the results now. All righty. So we have about 88% that are high school students and family members. And we have 6% transfer students. We have an alumni. We have an other. All are welcome today's tour. So excited. We're gonna go ahead and stop sharing that on the screen. And we're gonna move on to our next slide. So what are you in store for today? You're in store for a 45-minute presentation. We're gonna go over all things student perspectives. This is specifically a student perspective tour. So we won't be talking about admissions or financial aid or anything like that. That's a separate presentation. So the next 45 minutes, you're going to hear a lot from our students about a lot of different topics as well. We are highly encouraged to type questions in our Q&A feature. At the bottom of your screen, there will be a Q&A feature. You can drop any and all questions throughout today's throughout today's presentations in that Q&A feature. And we have a lot of campus ambassadors on the back end that are ready and excited to answer your questions. And as you also saw, we just had our first interactive poll. We have two more, so make sure you're paying attention to the slides so we can get to know more about y'all there. And then this virtual tour is also being recorded. So in case you miss it, in case you have to step away, you can, revisit it on our YouTube. We'll get you all that information later. And then today's tour will end with a live Q&A session with me and our two tour guides. So if you have any questions, make sure again you drop them in the Q&A and we'll answer some live. Alrighty, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to our two amazing guides. Have fun, y'all.
Hey guys, good afternoon. My name is James. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm one of your two guides for this virtual tour today. Originally, I'm from Rancho Cucamonga, California, which is in Southern California for anyone who's out of state. And currently, I'm a rising third year going on to graduate class of 28 in the spring. And I major in political science and I also minor in city planning. And of course, I do many things outside of being a campus ambassador and a student. I'm also involved in our ASUC, which is our Associated Students of the University of California, which I'll share a little bit about later on the virtual tour, as well as a part of Greek life here, part of our UC Jazz program. I'm part of Cal TV, which is the media program here at the university, as well as Public School Records, which is the first student-ran record label funded by the ASUC, as well as a member of Berkeley Res Life as a residential assistant.
Hello, everyone. Great to meet you all. My name is Mai-An. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Oakland, California, which is Berkeley's southern neighbor. So I grew up super close by. I'm studying social welfare and art history with a minor in early childhood education. And some of the other things I do on campus are I'm in Ballet and Books, which is a national nonprofit focused on connecting students to literacy through dance. I also do research with the Department of Linguistics here, and I'm part of ballet company at Berkeley.
All right, guys, to go over what our agenda is for today, we're going to be covering key topics about the history and culture of Berkeley, the academics, housing and dining, our health and safety resources, as well as our student resources, including our student life, and our athletics, and our libraries and research.
All right, to give us a quick overview of our UC Berkeley history, we were founded in 1868 and we are the first University of California campus. Because of this, we reserve the exclusive right to be called Cal, though you'll mostly hear that in conjunction with our athletics. Of course, we also go by the name UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, or just Berkeley itself. Our mascot is Oski the bear, who you can see in that image on the upper left corner. And for our fall 2025 student body, to kind of give you a gauge of how large we are as a university, we have about 33,000 undergraduates and about 13,000 graduate students. Some other things that you can see on the slide here are some campus landmarks. On the upper right-hand side, there is our campanile, our clock and bell tower on campus. You can even go and visit and see the view from the top. It's super beautiful. If you ever get a chance to come to our campus, I would highly recommend it. In addition to that, on the lower left corner is South Hall. This is the oldest building on campus and currently is home to the School of Information. Lastly, on that bottom right corner, you can see Sather Gate, which is a pretty iconic campus landmark as well.
Now, to go into the culture of UC Berkeley, something that we do acknowledge is housing a space of change makers. We're very passionate to promote free speech and activism here at the university. And what you'll actually notice on the top right hand corner of the screen is none other than a photo from our 1960s free speech movement, which actually had many different free speech motivating speakers, such as Martin Luther King himself, who spoke right in front of our Sproul Hall facilities. In addition to that, we also have a lot of entrepreneurship promotion here at our university, which is very much not just represented in our Haas School of Business, but is also very much shown through many other student initiatives outside of that specific undergraduate program. We also have many opportunities of research and innovation that are very well promoted and very much well tied into our name here at the university. But outside of any serious academics or extracurriculars, we also have very strong community, one of which can very much be seen through our school spirit and pride. Many proud Cal alumni very much represent a lot of school spirit and pride through the attendance at our football games. And at our football games, we're very proud to have our very own rally committee, which you can actually see photographed in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Our rally committee does attend all of our football games and many of our spirited events outside of that and are very active during our rivalry week of a big game, of course. And with that, they also are the most knowledgeable students of our campus traditions, which many of which are tied into historical practices here at the university. But with this, we are also a very welcoming and diverse community and support collaboration beyond measure here at the school.
All right, I'm going to start us off with a brief overview of our academics, and then we'll go more in depth about all of these different undergraduate colleges. We have six undergraduate colleges here at Berkeley. There's the College of Letters and Science, which is really our most broad college here. It has over 65 different majors, and it covers everything from physical and biological sciences to the arts and humanities. Next, there's Rausser College of Natural Resources, which is really focused on the intersection between Earth's natural resources and our modern world. After that, we have our College of Environmental Design, our College of Chemistry, our College of Engineering, and our newest college, which is the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. In addition to that, we have a couple other undergraduate majors that are offered through some of our graduate schools. This includes things like our Haas School of Business, which has a business administration program, and the School of Education as well.
All right, and as mentioned by Mai-An, our College of Letters and Science is our largest undergraduate college, and the first one we're going to go ahead and talk about today. 3 out of 4 undergrads are a part of this college, and that has to do with the variety of majors that fall under this college. That includes economics, molecular and cell biology, political science, sociology, applied mathematics, cog-sci, legal studies, English, and many more majors that combine both humanities and some STEM life science majors as well. What you can see photographed here on the bottom right is actually our Dwinell Hall, which is one of the buildings that houses many of our undergraduate college lectures and discussion rooms.
Right now, we'll move on to discussing Rouser College of Natural Resources. This is one of our founding colleges. One thing about UC Berkeley is that we are a land grant university. So, part of this is that when we were founded, we had programs in agriculture, mining, and military instruction. And Rouser College of Natural Resources is what emerged from our College of Agriculture. It has 9 majors, which include things like molecular environmental biology, society and the environment, and conservation resources studies. Here you can see some images of our wonderful students from this college. On the upper left hand, you can see the Strawberry Creek Restoration. This is one of 3 living laboratory sites we have on campus where students can do a lot of really hands-on work. You can also see in that bottom left corner, the Li Ka-shing building. It's one of our more new buildings on campus, and it houses many of our classes for Rouser College of Natural Resources.
Now, our next undergraduate college is none other than our School of Environmental Design. This is our smallest college and actually has sub 650 students. And there are only 4 majors to this college. As you can see, this is architecture, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. However, I should also mention that there are a variety of minors that are attached to this college, one of which that I'm a part of, which is our city planning minor. And what you can actually see here on the right are students who are using our lab space within the College of Environmental Design in our Bauer Worcester Hall. And this is our studio space. Correction, that is the studio space. And the studio space is actually accessible after hours to students who are a part of this college. And I can also point out to you below on the bottom right is an overscaping view of our Bauer Worcester Hall.
Great. Now moving on to our College of Chemistry. This is one of our smaller colleges on campus with 1,000 students and 3 majors. This is chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. We are one of the only universities in the country to have a college specifically dedicated to the study of chemistry, and it's one of the #1 ranked colleges for the study of chemistry across the country.
Our next undergraduate college is going to be none other than our College of Engineering, which is another one of our founding colleges and is currently ranked as the #1 undergraduate program for engineering studies in our university. It has 11 majors, some of which including electrical engineering and computer science, which is our EECS major. This is one of the most competitive engineering majors within the College of Engineering, as well as mechanical engineering, bioengineering, civil engineering, aerospace engineering, industrial engineering, and operations research, or as many people know under the acronym IEOR, and many more others examples, of course. And here we can see pictured is none other than our McLaughlin Hall, which is one of our engineering facilities that has both lecture halls and places of researches, and some of our makerspace areas that you could see on our right as well.
Great. Lastly, we are talking about our newest college here, which is our College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. This was founded in 2024, and it's the first new college at UC Berkeley in over 50 years. There are 3 majors, which are computer science, data science, and statistics. And there's a brand new building, which is about to open in the fall. You can see it pictured on that upper right corner there.
And next up includes our Haas School of Business and our undergraduate pathways. So something that we should mention is that even though the Haas School of Business is in fact a graduate school, it does in fact have an undergraduate program as well. And there's also undergraduate pathways, such as for our high school seniors. We have our Speaker Undergraduate Business program, which is for our 4-year, which is a 4-year program, as well as our Global Management program. We also have a interdisciplinary program that combines both business and engineering, and that is our MET program, which stands for Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology. As for our continuing students who are potential transfers or transfer into the School of Business after being admitted from their first year. We have a 2-year business major, as well as our LSBE program, which is another one of our interdisciplinary programs within the Haas School of Business. And this is going to combine also our business and biology studies, or any of our life science studies. And that is an acronym for Life Sciences and Business Entrepreneurship. And also with our MET program, that is something that could also be transferred into from our first year students. For transfers, all that is available is the 2-year business major program.
Wonderful. As you can see here, there's a poll on your screen that's just asking about what you're interested in, so we can get a sense of where people's interests for today's uh, tour lie. And it looks like, all right, we have a lot of engineering students, some people interested in the social sciences, physical sciences, but it looks like we have a pretty good distribution across all of these, as you can see the results here. Now I'm going to briefly go over our graduate schools. There are 9 graduate schools on campus. This includes the Haas School of Business, the School of Education, the School of Information, Berkeley Law, the School of Social Welfare, the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry and Vision Science, the School of Journalism, the School of Public Health, and the Goldman School of Public Policy. In addition to this, all of our undergraduate colleges also offer graduate degrees.
Now, on to our housing and dining section. Something that we should go ahead and mention is that 96% of our first years do live in our university residence halls. And for first year students, we now have 2 years of guaranteed housing for those first 2 years. For transfers, it is only the first year that is guaranteed. However, you are still able to apply for housing as a continuing student. Something we should also mention is that we have doubles, triples, and suites offered in our housing department, as well as theme programs that variously are tied to different cultural preferences, of course, that can also be seen on our housing application. Some of which include our Bloom, which is our Asian American theme program, our African American theme program, as well as our Casa Magdalena, which is our Latinx theme program. As I mentioned, we guarantee housing offers for first years and transfers. For first years, it is 2 years of a guarantee, and transfers only 1 year. There's also a meal plan that is included in this housing offer, which our baseline meal plan includes 14 meal swipes per the week, as well as a system of flex dollars. Flex dollars are divided in half by flex dollars and flex plus dollars. With the baseline meal plan, it is included of 300 flex dollars. Then all flex dollars are able to be used on campus for various different uh, campus grocery stores, of course, and even some other stores within our campus dining restaurants. Then with our Flex Plus dollars, you have the ability to use those on the app of Grubhub, which all students are granted a Grubhub Plus membership as part of the university. And something that I should also mention is that for transfers and continuing students, there is separate options of housing that are offered, such as in our Helen Diller Anchor House, which is actually only offered to first year transfer students, as well as our university dorms and apartments, which fall under our Unit 6 category of housing. And this is a variety of 4 different apartment style housing for continuing students only. There's also campus affiliated housing, which are nearby apartments that rent out tenancy spaces for only continuing students from the university, as well as options to stay for private off-campus housing. And these are going to be tenants and duplexes that students are welcome to stay in that are not affiliated with the university, however, are relatively close to the university as an option of housing post that first or second year. There's also Greek housing as an option for any students that are involved in campus Greek life and are interested in staying in the Greek house post their first year of college.
Great. Now, right now, we're going to get a little poll popping up on your screen, which, if you don't mind, all participating in. We're just interested in where you are joining us from. So, do we have any folks from Northern California, Central California, Southern California, somewhere else in the country, like in the Mountain Time Zone, Central Time Zone, or Eastern Time Zone? Or do we have any international folks with us or people from the Hawaiian Islands or from Alaska? I'll give us a few more seconds to answer, and it looks like we have some pretty good participation, about 82%. And looking here, it looks like about 20% of folks are from Southern California, 26% are people from states in the Eastern time zone. We got about 21% of people from the Central time zone. We have people from the Mountain time zone, other states in the Pacific time zone. Well, welcome. We're all happy to have you here, and I'm glad you made the time to join us no matter where you're coming from in the country. Moving on, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to talk a little bit about health and safety. The university does a lot to take care of both physical and mental health. For one, we have our student health insurance plan. This is a plan that all students are enrolled in, and it includes everything from your entire body to things like dental and vision as well. It also has urgent care, primary care, pharmacies, referrals, and things like laboratory and radiology as well. Some other ways the university takes care of its students are through our counseling and psychological services. This is a way you can get same-day counseling on demand. There's a number on your student ID, or you can go to the Berkeley SHIP portal, the online portal, and you can arrange some mental health care if that's something that is pertinent to you. In addition to that, we have the Optometry Eye Center. This is at our School of Vision Sciences and Optometry, and anyone, including the public, can come in for a $10 eye exam, which is pretty cool. There's also a lot that the university does for stress relief, especially around finals, like, for example, Llama-Palooza, which you can see pictured in that upper right corner. It's a way to kind of de-stress and bring a little lightness to a perhaps stressful time for some students.
And on the topic of health and safety, we have five different safety services that are well established here at the university, one of which being our UCPD department, which is a university exclusive police department that we have under our Sproul Hall that is responsive to all student occurrences in which any need of safety is called for. And one of the easiest ways you can go ahead and call for safety and contact UCPD is through our blue light poles. These are blue light poles that we have stationed across various spots on our campus, as well as on our dormitory housing areas, in which students can go ahead and press a simple button that will immediately contact UCPD and have them arrive present to the scene within 5 minutes of pressing the button. And the great thing about the notification of any of these occurrences that happen on our campus or near our campus is that you find out about them via the Berkeley email on our Warn Me system. The Warn Me system emails all students who are under the Berkeley email, as well as faculty, of any occurrences of danger that students should be aware of that are on or near our campus, as well as providing the street crossings of where the crime had occurred, what time it had occurred, and what specifically happened, as well as details of any specific perpetrators people should be on the lookout for. And there are also rolling updates to situations that have current notices that are active. And as soon as they are solved, they are immediately notified to all students. Now, as for transportation and safe manners, we have two different systems that cover that both run from dusk till 2:30 in the morning. And these include our Safe Walk and our night safety shuttles. Our Safe Walk is a program with student safety trained specialists that go ahead and are willing to escort students from spaces such as their dormitories to libraries, or from their libraries back to their homes. And you can actually go ahead and see some of these students in the bottom left corner of the screen right here of what the Safe Walk uniform tends to look like, and how you'll have 1 to 2 students that can be requested via the Safe Walk app for free in order to be transported with an accompany from those post hours from dusk till 2:30 in the morning. And the same applies to our night safety shuttle, which, for example, you can see on our bottom right over here, which is an example of what one of those shuttles looks like, and is a bus system that runs through the roads of our UC campus and allows students to go ahead and access this in a ride that will drop them off either at bus stops that are both near the libraries and also near the dormitory spaces, as well as near spaces that have other off-campus sections of housing.
Moving on to student resources, I want to talk a little bit about different things that students have at their disposal when they either are looking for community or some support as a student here. For example, we have a lot of different centers for educational justice and community engagement. This includes things like the Fannie Lou Hamer Black Resource Center. For example, there's also the Associated Students of the University of California, ASUC. This is our student government, and they oversee over 1,300 different student organizations and clubs. So there are tons of different opportunities to find community here. One thing I really try to emphasize is the range of different options when it comes to these clubs and organizations. You have ones that are based around hobbies like hiking or rock climbing or swimming. There are ones that are organized around things like the arts. So there's tons of different bands and dance groups and other kinds of, for example, theater programs that are run through the ASUC. On top of that, there's also a lot of different options for pre-professional tracks. So there might be a club specifically for students looking to have a career in pharmacy, and that can really support you along your academic journey there. In addition to this, we have our Transfer Student Center, which is really a one-stop shop for our transfer students who are looking for some guidance or support. And we also provide a lot of support for our undocumented students as well. In addition to this, to make sure that students have equitable access to the educational space, we have our Disabled Students Program, which ensures that all students are able to have the accommodations they need and are able to access their classes. And there's the Basic Needs Center that students can come to if they are for example, food insecure and need some groceries. This is just a brief overview. There are many, many more resources all around the university. One of my favorites is they call it Bicycle, and it's a bicycle shop on campus. You can come in and bring your bike for repair for free. They just charge for parts, but labor is totally free. And you can also learn how to repair your own bike there as well.
All right, and as for our student life, something we should go ahead and mention is that there are actually over 1,200 plus registered student organizations, and these are identified under the acronym of RSOs. And these range from some consulting clubs to pre-professional groups to hobby and service-based clubs. And some categories of clubs that we have include academic and professional organizations, some cultural and identity groups, and competitive sports clubs, and also clubs that fall under the arts and performance scene. So that includes some like a cappella groups, UC Jazz, which I've mentioned to be a part of, as well as our Cal Marching Band, which we actually know a very close alumni of the Cal Marching Band. And we have also other organizations, as I mentioned, with identity groups, various different culture clubs, of course, and of course some of the pre-professional ones, as Mai-An was touching on, that support either track of people who may be interested in going the pharmaceutical route, going into the pre-medical route, going into pre-law or pre-business, all of which that can be found within our registered student organizations. Something that I should also mention is that a resident student organization is in fact funded by our ASUC, our Associated Students of the University of California, and therefore affiliated with the university. We also have various clubs that promote volunteering, some of which include the Berkeley Project, of course, Project Rishi, which provide various service opportunities for students to go ahead and sign up for certain days in which you can actually go out to a different service event within the city of Berkeley, sometimes in Oakland, and they actually go ahead and promote these opportunities of community service to various clubs that are interested in getting involved in acts of philanthropy as well. And this also can be expanded onto some examples of various clubs who go ahead and actually encourage their entire groups to participate in these events, such as with the Berkeley Project in specific. As for our campus employment, this is also a very large part of our student life and also tied in with one of our financial aid outlets of work studies. Some students will go ahead and adopt a work study position if they qualify via their financial aid, which can be found in a separate presentation as well. But in general, if you're interested in having campus employment without having work study, you can apply via the Berkeley Career Engagement. And this is also provides opportunities working jobs such as being a campus ambassador, so giving campus tours and working front desk at our visitor center, as well as our campanile and working the elevator of our campanile, as well as other jobs such as doing the front desk of our library, doing some research positions as well, and can also be reached out upon via cold emailing various professors who offer research opportunities. And on that topic, we can also mention internships. Many opportunities of internships exist near the city of Berkeley and in the city of Berkeley, also tied in with research as well. But there's also various opportunities of internships in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, which we are located relatively close to geographically, being in the Bay Area. And many students will go ahead and take advantage of opportunities such as applying for these internships to work both during the academic year while managing their academic studies alongside with an internship responsibility, or we'll even push it off into something that they do over the summer and will go ahead and stay with their housing stay in their housing opening tenancy that they have that begins in usually in June or July. And they'll go ahead and commute to San Francisco or Silicon Valley. And one of the best ways they can also do this is having free accessibility to the BART and our AC transit system. And this is a method that many students go ahead and utilize because as a student at UC Berkeley, you do get free access via the Bay Pass, which was approved by our ASUC. Now, something I should also mention is our program of studying abroad. You can register to study abroad as early as the end of your first semester at Cal for if you are interested in doing it for the following academic year. Students will range from studying abroad from various different countries, either in Spain, countries in Asia, countries even South America, of course, within your own jurisdiction. And these can happen both either in our fall, spring, or even summer semesters if that is something people are interested in doing as well. Now, beyond just student life that falls under our work study or our clubs organization, you also have the freedom to explore the Bay Area. As I mentioned, students do have free access to the BART and AC transit busing systems, which allows them to go ahead and venture out into various different parts of cities near Berkeley, such as Richmond, Oakland, Marin, and San Francisco, of course, without having to worry of the cost of having a car because they get free access to the train and busing systems. And that also includes the busing systems in San Francisco as well.
All right, now I'm going to move on to talking a little bit about athletics. One thing I love about being a Berkeley student, and there's is that there's many different levels people can engage with sports in. So if you're someone who's really serious about it and you want to be a student athlete, we are a Division I school and we're part of the Atlantic Coast Conference. So there are lots of opportunities to play at a more elite level. However, if you're someone who's more interested in getting into sports for fun, for community, to stay moving, we have both the club level and the intramural or recreational level. So there's lots of different ways you can engage with physical activity. In addition to this, you can see California Memorial Stadium in that picture on the upper left. This is our big stadium on campus. It holds about 63,000 people and it was constructed in 1923. Fun fact about it, it also sits on the Hayward Fault Line, but it recently underwent some significant renovation to improve its seismic stability. In addition to this, we have Haas Pavilion. This is home to many of our basketball games and different gymnastics competitions. There's our recreational sports facility, or RSF, which has over 100,000 square feet of recreational athletic space. This is our student gym, and there's tons of different options from things like weight rooms and machines to courts and even a rock wall. There's also a big swimming pool there, in addition to the three other swimming pools around campus as well. We also have the Hearst Memorial Gym. This is where many of our PE classes are held. One thing I really like to emphasize on my tours is the value of our PE classes. These classes are typically half a unit to 1 unit, And there are so many different options. You can do everything from scuba diving and hiking to things like ballet and salsa. These are some really great opportunities. The instructors are some really world-class instructors as well, super talented. And it's a great way to build some community outside of your academic classes here at Berkeley. We also have many different accolades to boast about, including the 246 Olympic medals earned by Cal alumni.
Now, to talk about our libraries and research, which is a very much a stark jump from our athletics, we should mention that we have over 20 on-campus libraries, as well as one library located in Richmond. And across all libraries that we have over 15 million volumes. Now, what you'll see photographed on the top left is none other than an image of our Doe Library, which many may assume to actually be one of the largest libraries that we have at the university. And although it is one of the largest libraries, it is in fact not the largest, which you would actually find right below that structure, which would be none other than our main stacks library, which is about 4 stories underground and has various amounts of study spaces that may be more difficult to find during our finals week, of course. However, I should mention that what you could see on the top right photo is none other than our Moffett Library, and this is our only library at the university that is 24 hours throughout the entire academic year, and is also a social library that allows students to go ahead and speak in a non-quiet form. And it's a great space that many STEM students will go ahead and utilize if they're interested in, studying for a group project or a group exam. Of course, that is something that they'll go ahead and utilize within that space. And though it just went under some recent renovations, it will actually be reopened for our fall 26 semester, thankfully. Now, on the topic of research, which we've been hearing that many people have various different questions about, something we should go ahead and describe is that UC Berkeley offers an expansive network of undergraduate and graduate research opportunities, and that's across all disciplines. So that includes STEM, humanities, data science, and even the social sciences. So even majors such as political science offer opportunities of research. And one of the easiest ways students can go ahead and actually apply for these researches are through the undergraduate research apprenticeship program, known as our URAP program, in which students are able to apply for this program in the beginning of the semester, and they can actually go ahead and earn 1 unit of academic credit for every 3 hours of research that they complete per week within the positions that they can apply for. And as I mentioned, these include positions across STEM, humanities, data science, and the social sciences. So that is a variety across all majors that students should go ahead and look into. Now, another way they can also be interested in or raise interest in being able to apply for these internship opportunities is through doing cold emailing for the various professors that they may be interested in working with that have been promoting some of their research opportunities as well. And that goes beyond just doing URAP. You can go ahead and cold email professors in the beginning of the semester or prior to a semester ending and going into the next semester, such as spring. And with that, there's also departmental opportunities that various different colleges offer as well that they'll go ahead and post publicly. And the great thing is that when you are a part of a specific department or declare a major at the university, you'll go ahead and be added to an email list that will allow you to be updated on every single departmental opportunity for undergraduate and graduate studies, of course. So for anyone else who's further interested in research opportunities through that avenue, that is one way you will be continued to be notified as such.
Wonderful. While we're here, I just want to mention some famous alumni and professors. Starting at the upper left, you can see Stephen Chu, the former US Secretary of Energy. There's Jennifer Doudna, the 2020 Nobel Prize winner in chemistry for her work creating the gene editing software CRISPR. And also, fun fact, she currently is still a professor here, and you can even do research in her lab working on gene editing with the woman who literally invented the technology. There you can see on the upper right side Beverly Cleary, a children's book author. On the bottom left, there's Chris Pine, actor from Star Trek, Wonder Woman, and a variety of other things. You can see Janisha Adams Ginyard, an actress and stuntwoman, and she was also in Black Panther. There's Steve Wozniak on that bottom right-hand side, the co-founder of Apple, and also Alex Morgan, the Women's World Cup winner.
And to conclude our content information of our virtual tour, I should go ahead and mention some of the beautiful campus highlights of our university. Something that you can go ahead and endure on is a hike via our campus fire trails, which is where a hike that can actually go ahead and give you a very beautiful view of the skyline of San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, as well as, of course, the city of Berkeley and bits and pieces of the campus, as well as a angle of the Campanile. And it's a great place to go for a sunset hike, of course, as well. And then there's also a view that you can get of the city of Oakland from there. In addition to that, we also have our Strawberry Creek that you can go ahead and see in the center bottom photo right here. And this is actually a creek that runs all the way from the east side to the west side of our campus and is actually the same exact creek that runs under our Sather Bridge, which is right after our Sather Gate on the Sproul Corridor, of course. We also have a variety of trees and wildlife on our campus. So what you can go ahead and see in the bottom left over here is actually within the southwest corner of our campus. That is actually close to our Haas Pavilion, which is our basketball arena for both our basketball, gymnastics, and volleyball arena for our D1 athletics. And with that, we have a lot of different wildlife that interacts in these green spaces, such as which is a variety of squirrels that you'll see here at the university. And this is a very notable thing to bring up as they are an equal in population as our student body. That is a total exaggeration, of course, but however, it may feel like that at times, and they are quite friendly to interact with. In any given moment. But overall, the campus has a very urban and rural mix to its feel. And there's surrounding attractions that you can go ahead and actually view both in the city of Oakland and in the city of San Francisco, of course, the Golden Gate Bridge, the city itself, and of course, some of the Oakland corridors that are connected via the Street of Telegraph. However, in the city of Berkeley, besides the fire trails, we also have the Berkeley Marina, which is a port that we have near the city of Berkeley at the very end, and now gives you a very close-up view of a sunset during certain hours that gives you a view over the San Francisco skyline and the Golden Gate Bridge. And there's also kayaks that you can rent out there as well, which are fun to interact with. And then, of course, we have the Berkeley Hills that are the neighboring city housing near the university campus. And this goes beyond the spaces of the foothill dormitories as well as the Berkeley Greek Theater and the California Memorial Stadium. And they actually have a very nice view that you can go ahead and capture of the houses, not just from standing at some central points of the campus, but also when you go up the Campanile. The Campanile, of course, is our main attraction at the university, which is the world's second tallest freestanding bell and clock tower, and is visible for all tourists for $5 for youth and $6 for adult to visit to the top of the tower. But there are very much different aspects to love about the campus and what very much contribute to the feeling of it being home to others. And this is something that students should go ahead and take part in when either just visiting the campus, but also, you know, during their tenure at the university as well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I am back. Hope you guys missed me. I just want to say what an amazing tour that was from Mai-An and James. For all of our families and visitors at home, please give them a big round of applause. And now we're going to go into our little Q&A session. You guys are running it up in the chat. There is a lot of questions. So we hope to answer a couple of them live as we can hear some more perspective from our tour guides and from me as well. So my first question to our tour guides today is, what is your favorite part of social life on campus? Whether that's a club you've joined, whether that's an experience you've had. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
I can start us off. I will say personally, one thing I really value about being a student here is that since it's such a large university, there's such a wide range of activities that you can participate in. When I first came to Berkeley, I was a little concerned that, with such a large student body, that, am I going to be lost? Am I not going to be able to make friends? And what I can really say is because of the size, you kind of have an opposite effect. There are so many little niches. And so I appreciate that, one day I can be at, ballet company at Berkeley, and then at the next I can be, you know, seeing a concert or going rock climbing. So I would say that range is something I can really value as a student here.
Yeah, something I would say to even build off my Ann's answer is that Berkeley is the perfect opportunity where you can finally explore ways to get out of your comfort zone in a way that is actually somewhat comfortable. And that's because you're finding a variety of personalities and of people that, are coming from you and coming from the same place when you first showed up to the university. I remember first coming here, I felt a little nervous and apprehensive for the fact that I was the only student from my high school attending the university. And something that I very much found quickly was that many other students were within the same situational experience when first coming, and that made it very easy to socialize with people because we connected on that context. And connecting on that context made us willing to experience experiment with new experiences that were presented to us in ways that we never thought we would, just because of the opportunities we had via that first year of Berkeley. Something I remember truly exciting to this day was during my first year, we actually had a broadcast from ESPN, which was the college game day broadcast that happened on October 5th. And this was by far one of the most memorable college experiences for anyone who was present at the university during that time. And even though the broadcast typically is hosted on the East Coast, they went ahead and had it held at the same time relative to the East Coast and had it start at 6 a.m. at the university. So in order to get a good spot, my friends and I, who never being familiar with any ESPN hype about College Game Day, decided to go ahead and make posters for this event, which we were going to be on live television showing our school spirit. And we showed up at 11 p.m. the night before with about, no exaggeration, of 1,000 other students at the university. And by the expressions from Izzy and Mai-An's face, you can tell that this was very much a shared experience to many of us here at the university. As soon as those gates open, it was like the scene from The Lion King when Mufasa unfortunately passed away. So, but nonetheless, it was such a memorable experience to just rush the Memorial Glade with all these people right at the strike of midnight and to be basically camping there wide awake up until 6 a.m. for the entire broadcast till 9 a.m. And something like that just sounds surreal, ballistic, and unbelievable. But it's experiences like that that I would have been able to have had if I did not found a community at Berkeley that was just willing to say yes to things that we normally wouldn't be comfortable with. And that's what I'm most grateful about the student life experience.
Oh my God, I love that. I love both of your perspectives. 6 a.m. camping never could be me, but I was watching video TikToks. But for myself, I would say one of my favorite aspects of our social life, student life, is definitely I'm part of Superb, which is like one of our overarching entertainment clubs on campus. And I'm specifically a part of the concerts division. So I really love music. I want to work in the music industry after college. And Suburb Concerts gives me a really good aspect and insight into that because through concerts, we get to bring real live artists to campus and have like full concerts and set up barricades and learn how to pitch artists and book artists and do all their runners and day of show. And it's so, so much fun. So I've gotten to work with like literally Grammy Award winner Duran Bernard. Most recently, we've had a lot of different artists like V's, Bash for the World. Mariah the Scientist came in the past to campus. And so like Steve Aoki long time ago, but those are also some like really cool like names that have gotten bigger over the years as well. So I really, really love Superb because it doesn't just give me like insight into more of a professional aspect, but also a fun and cultural and just hang out with my friends all the time while we just like listen to music and like pitch different artists we can bring onto campus. So that is one of my favorite social aspects about Cal. My next question to our tour guides today is what is your favorite class or assignment you've had in your years here at Cal? I'll give you guys a moment to think, but whoever wants to hop in first.
I will say one that I think about all the time, which I kind of found a little surprising, is I took a graduate class in the School of Public Health, and it was a class that was entirely on the public health implications of abortion. And I am someone who works in early childhood education, and I'm taking all these classes about kids. And yet I think about the stuff I learned in this abortion class every single day. I mean, the stuff we talked about in terms of the context for maternal health and welfare is something that I think is so relevant to everyone. I mean, considering that, you know, we were all born at one point and someone, carried us at one point, and that I think is such an important part of just public health conversations in general. So I would say that's a class that's really stuck with me. And then in addition to that, there is a class in the geography department that I took just randomly to fulfill a requirement. As a student in the College of Letters and Science, we have a 7 course breadth requirement. So you have to take classes across 7 different subjects, including things like physical sciences, biological sciences, arts and humanities, and like international studies. And so I just took this class because it fulfilled my international studies requirement, but it was on food and the environment. And it was incredible. I mean, it felt like learning about like the entire history of human civilization. And I feel like the stuff I learned in that class is really foundational to the rest of my studies. So I would say those two were really memorable for me.
Yeah, I'd say one for me was definitely my city planning placemaking class, in which we went ahead and got into a group project. And this was within 30 minutes of the last half hour of our class. We went ahead and were told to meet with a random group of students that was pre-assigned. And we had to plan an entire city in the span of 10 minutes using toys from Michael's. And what this really did was really incite the creative side of me that I felt like I had when I was a child. And that was essentially the main point of that assignment. When we had like an entire map that was laid out for us, and using these toys, we had to go ahead and identify what each toy meant in terms of what it served, what purpose it served to the city, what was it in relatively being a building, being a street corridor, being a train transportation system. And we got very creative with how we designed various different pieces, of course. But ultimately, the place that we made was this entire town. That had a basketball arena as like the set as like the town hall, and then like an amusement park in the backyard of everyone's neighborhood. And like I think it also had like a train that ran all the way, a bullet train that ran all the way to any city that any person can imagine, as well as a space station as well. And it was just completely like, random, obscure, just the amount of decisions we had within this town that we planned in the span of like 10 minutes. But what was very fun was being able to present that town and explain why we included each piece and what it meant to us. And the whole point of that class was to understand the ability to make a place special, what makes a place significant to people, what's something that, really connects you to your hometown. And it through that class and through an assignment like that, I was able to really alter the way I view the world, and I view what makes sentimental connections to different, parts of my life, in relevancy to where I was at the time. And understanding that allows me to, look through the city planning lens with more intention, with how I want to go ahead and intersect that with going into local government and having a lot of say in how different opportunities can be planned for different communities is really impactful when you know what exactly is going to help people be pushed in the right direction and feel a sense of home and feel a sense of community. And the ability to bring that into people's lives is truly something that I'm very much grateful that Berkeley is allowed to allow me to expand upon in my education.
Awesome, awesome. As you guys can see, we have a wide range of diverse classes you can take here at Cal. For me to add my 2 cents, and when I think about what my favorite classes have been, it's definitely been like for my last junior year. I took for the last 2 years, I'm a minor in Korean. For the last 2 years, I had the same teacher, um, uh, teacher Choi, and she's been teaching me Korean all this long. And now I'm actually studying abroad in South Korea. It's like 7 a.m. here in Seoul right now. But I really love that class because not only did like I learn in the class and was such a very comforting environment, an environment where I can expand my Korean in a more like just basically a comfortable way. Now I'm actually here in Seoul utilizing what I've learned, and I've gotten so many compliments from like native Korean speakers, like, "Oh my God, it's like if my eyes were closed, you were Korean." That's what they said to me. But I really, really appreciate Professor Ina Choi for with just like all the skill sets she's given into me. And then last semester as well, I took an Africam class, which was one of my first Africam classes I've taken at Cal. And it was all about Black epistemology. And that was like a word I didn't know about before kind of like joining that class. And I learned so much. And it like opened my eyes and my perspective to so many things around like my daily life and kind of like the knowledge I have and how all knowledge is valuable no matter in what terms or situations you learn it from. But that was like such an amazing class. So if you ever come to Cal, take Africam. I think it was 5B with Amir Loggins. That is definitely a fun class to take. And then my last question for for the tour guides today is if you can go back and tell your freshman year self any advice, what would that be? Yeah. And whoever wants to hop in first. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, since I've been making Mai-An start off every single question, I'll go ahead and take one for the team this time around. And I'll go ahead and say I don't have really much regrets from my freshman year. And I'm happy to say that because I'm really happy with where I've ended up thus far here in my Berkeley experience. However, if there's one thing that I had to reassure to make sure that my freshman self were to follow through with, it would be to socialize with everyone and join any opportunity that I saw presented to me. Because the best thing you can do for yourself is to make anything possible by just not limiting anything. Do not limit any opportunity that is presented to you. Because what it has done for me to just say yes to things that I never thought I'd ever say yes to, both, I mean, I want to emphasize on good things, of course, but saying yes to everything that I never thought I'd say yes to has brought me around people that have helped uplift me, motivate me, and support me to stay on track with the goals that I've had entering into this university, but also build upon them and have specific goals as to what I want to do within those interdisciplinary focuses. And all of that has been facilitated through that support that I've found from the people I've been with. And the only way you can find those kind of people is if you keep an open mind with who you socialize with, because sometimes it's going to be the individuals that you least expect that will end up being some of the most impactful souls that you encounter in your life. And that doesn't just apply to Berkeley, that applies to anything that you encounter in life, any experience you have, of course. If I can give that bit of advice to me, it wouldn't be just for entering my freshman year. It's going to be when I enter my first job after college, when I enter, a promotional state, when I, you know, enter into a new neighborhood and I'm surrounded by new people. Any time where you're in an environment that is, new and refreshing to you, that is something that needs to be celebrated through your decision to expand in that environment, to socialize with that environment and see what you can learn from others. Because that is the way you grow in knowledge. And that is what exactly UC Berkeley is seeking for, is people who want to expand their perspective, expand on what they know. And the only way you can do that is by willing to look into the perspective and lens of those that are around you, because they may surprise you as to what it is they can do to your perspective and how you can use that to change the world.
This is in a similar vein, but I would say if I could tell myself anything, looking back, I would tell myself to fail more. And I think this is because I made a lot of decisions thinking about, what was the risk of failure? Was I going to be able to accomplish this? And what I've really learned from my time here is that failure is the fastest way to improving into learning. And I think there are a lot of times where I may have limited the opportunities I sought because I was afraid of, being rejected or someone saying no or me doing something and being bad at it. And now it's something that I really try to embrace. I try to, go after things that I am going to maybe be bad at and maybe fail at. And that's going to be okay. I take classes that I know are going to be really challenging and I know I might not be able to get an A on. And that's all right. That's not, I'm here both to, enrich myself educationally, but I also want to grow as a person. And I think failure and opening yourself up to that is something that really helps to open yourself up to growth as well.
Awesome. Also, I absolutely love your perspectives as so much. So as we get the screen back up for our last kind of closing remarks, I would think something I would tell my past Berkeley or my freshman year self is to also pace yourself and know what your limits are. I know we're all saying like so many different things, but take everything with what you can relate to. But I would say that's definitely something for myself. And as we go ahead and wrap it up, we would love for you guys, all of our visitors, to stay connected with us. You can do that via Instagram or Facebook at Visit UC Berkeley. If there was a question that we weren't able to answer today, I'm so sorry, but our people were working. But if you have any more questions today, feel free to go ahead and email us at tour@berkeley.edu, and the student ambassador will answer it on the other end. We also have a Bear Talk blog. Bear Talk blog, you can see their kind of perspectives, student perspectives from campus ambassadors and hearing more stories. So you can click that link over there. And then we also record all of our virtual visits. So this will be up on our YouTube channel. We have many more virtual visits already on our YouTube channel at Visit UC Berkeley. So you can check those out then. And if you're interested in admissions presentations, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on your left-hand side. And if you will ever get a chance to come visit us in Berkeley, California, go ahead and schedule your in-person campus tour right there on your right-hand side. We'll be welcoming you with open arms to see our beautiful campus in person. With that being said, we're going to go to our last slide, and it is our ending slide. And we love to do a big Go Bears on three. So James and Mai-An, if you can join me with a Go Bears on three, I would love that. And all our families at home, scream it in your living room, in your car, wherever you are with us right now. All right, three, two, one. Go
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 Bears!
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 All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.